Howdy, y'all. Joe Hills here, recording as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee. And in this episode, I've got my sights set on whatever the heck these stupid stalactite things are. They are nearby, and they have a chest right there. Well, you can't see it now. Hold on, let me come around, and I'll show you. Just be patient. Right up here, there's a chest, and dang it, maybe that's not a chest, that's a sign. Well, I was gonna say, I don't have any sustainable food at this point, and no, look at my inventory. Oh, well, so there goes our episode where we use all the slabs to bridge out, because we're out of slabs now. So, new episode, we are gonna build something. I don't know what yet. Give me a second to think about this. What do I got? I got a ton of sand. I got a ton of sandstone. Now might be as good as time as any to start work on my super awesome what do you call it? My super awesome protector dome thing for my victory monument, because otherwise I don't have an episode for you, because I lost all of those materials in one foul misstep. I figure what I'll do is I want to build something that's high enough up and then kind of goes out and around. And maybe I'll make I like the idea of using the bricks and making a fleecy box analog, but I guess the problem with using anything solid on the top is it needs to be lit to prevent creatures from coming down on me, like spiders and whatnot. Glass would have been good, but I want to use glass panes. I don't want the roof to necessarily be glass. And I need to be careful about where I step, because I've already died once due to stupid circumstances. So, what I think I'll do is I know that I'm going to want to come out at least as far as this box right here. Well, yeah, I want to have this box here inside of the protected zone. So let's see. This step is going to go cut through here, and then that means that this would be like one corner then. And that means that on the other side, one of the other corners is going to be, shouldn't run off the cliff here, is going to be right here. And so it looks like what I'm going to want to do is fill in with glowstone around that bit. There we go. That's going to be our actual corner there. I feel like taking just glass panes across here. Let's see how many glass panes this takes to go all the way across. Okay, 11. That's not the end of the world. So that means that from each stack we can get about 6 high. And we've only got 1 stack of glass panes right now. So that's not going to be enough. And what we'll do, though, to make that easier to keep track of is, I was going to say, on the 6th one, we'll go ahead and make that a glowstone block. Let's see, 1.9 pre-release 3 should be coming out sometime soon. One of the main reasons I haven't gotten to pre-release 2 yet is that I don't have... Well, I knew I wanted to use a lot of glass panes for this project, and breaking glass panes right now gives you a block back, whereas in pre-release 2 it does not, which I think is a bug. I'm not sure if they fixed that in 3 or not. But either way, getting this knocked out before the big pre-release 3 will be advantageous. Okay, this is going to be a pain the whole way, isn't it? Yeah, I wish I had dirt or something that was really easy to remove. Other things going on in the news is that Apple founder Steve Jobs just passed away. I just found out about that a few minutes ago. And, you know, I didn't know the man personally, and it's one of those things where when celebrities die, it's kind of, you know, it's kind of weird, because it's like you don't really know the person, but there's someone who you've kind of had you've learned about, or you've heard about regularly. Like they're a strange part of your life, even if you never knew them. Um, and I don't really know. Like I have a lot of respect for the guy's work and everything. But like I don't know him personally, and I doubt that any of my viewers knew him personally. Just because from a numbers standpoint, like most of y'all are not necessarily of that age that you would hang out with CEOs of major corporations necessarily, but maybe you do. And if so, you have my condolences for your personal loss, which will most likely be overshadowed in the media by other things. Who knows? But yeah, so that just happened, and I didn't really have time to formulate a proper response. What else is going on? Race for Wool. It just happened. We just had our first game on Sunday. And let's see, what happened with that was we played against Team 10,000 Meat Cupcakes, and we are going to be releasing videos of that throughout the week. And so if you are interested in seeing me, Zombie Cleo, Z-Sto, Pause Unpause play against Dutroid, Super MC Gamer, Michael, and Gray Goose, I think. It's weird because his name is not the same on YouTube and the other place, ending game. But anyway, so yeah, that's going to be going up throughout the week, and that's probably going to be up on my channel page. And we're actually playing kind of with a league configuration. So, there's 4 teams, and we play round robin in the first round. And then after that, what'll happen is we will we play in 4 teams round robin, and then after that we're going to go ahead and switch off, kind of set up a loser's bracket and a winner's bracket, where people compete for first, second, third, and fourth place. Well, I guess you don't really compete for fourth place, but yeah. So I don't think I'm at liberty to say how the first game went, but we had a lot of fun is the important thing. And so good, some of my glass is already coming along pretty well. Like I said, I like the idea of using brick in the roof somehow, because that makes it more like a fleecy box, like a proper one. But I don't know how that would, yeah. The thing about that is, like I said, I'd have to light up the roof somehow, and I don't really have all that thought through. So yeah, Race for Wool videos will be up. Also known as Co-Star on YouTube, made us an amazing intro and an outro. I'm not really much of an intro person. As you guys may have noticed, my videos just kind of dump into them, or sometimes I'll use the theme music to show you what I've been up to without necessarily, it's just like, oh, okay, well, here's a montage of what I did between videos, just so that way I'm not wasting your time showing you me resource gathering constantly. And I feel like that's a pretty good way to do that for me. That's not necessarily other people's style, though, and I certainly recognize, to each his own and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and plug these holes real quick with snow, just so I don't have to worry about them. One less thing to worry about. Oh, yeah, I'm not going to want to put sand on top of these, because if I use the shovel to come down, it will be a problem. So, yeah, anyway, where was I? Co made us an awesome intro and an awesome outro, and I'm really excited about both of them. Though, like I said, for my style, I'm not really... I just like to dump straight into the video, get right to the content as much as possible. Especially on something where, realistically, y'all are probably, some of the people who watch the Race for Wool videos are going to actually watch all 8 videos from every match. And there's 2 matches each round. And so I could see some folks just not really wanting to hear the same intro music 16 times. So what I'll do is I'll do you a favor. You only have to listen to it 15 times. How's that? No, but yeah, the outro is pretty neat because, dang it, I've done that twice now. It is good to know, though, that I don't actually have to step up on the sand to get this right. Yeah, whoa. Dang it. Oh, come on. Here we go. Dang. Did I get this one right? There we go. Okay, good. But yeah, so it's an awesome outro and an awesome intro as well. Let's see. In other Race for Wool related news, I should mention that Vechs has repeatedly expressed frustration that many folks, myself included, have been calling it Race for the Wool. So the more times I say Race for Wool during this video, the more likely I am to not incur his wrath in the future by mispronouncing it inadvertently. So this is just good practice. But yeah, that map is not for public consumption quite yet, because Vetch just wanted to see if there was any game-breaking stuff where essentially he wanted us to see if we could find anything. Well, not like go out of our way, but like if when we were playing, it became obvious that something needed to be changed before release, like, oh wow, this is a stupidly easy workaround, or that sort of thing, then he'd want to update it. But yeah, back to that Steve Jobs thing. I mean, like, a lot of people were very upset when Michael Jackson passed away, and, same thing for, in terms of more or less pop culture and more political, Ronald Reagan as well, I remember, was kind of a big deal. Like, with Reagan, he had been suffering from Alzheimer's for a great many years, though, so, in a lot of ways, folks kind of knew, like, they didn't necessarily see him as a public figure anymore, and, it was, people knew his time was coming, and, I mean, folks knew Steve Jobs was sick, but, yeah, so, anyway, like, the only person that I really remember having, like, when they passed away, it being kind of a big deal, that I didn't know. Like, it's different if somebody dies, obviously. But, I remember, when, Douglas Adams, the writer or the author of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, passed away. I actually learned about that on the front page of Game FAQs, which, tells you how long ago this was, that Game FAQs still reported stuff like that, and that I was there. But yeah, that was kind of, one of those things. I was really kind of surprised, I mean, I guess when John Paul II died, that was also kind of a big deal. But, like, he's a spiritual leader. But, I mean, then again, a lot of these people that are in the spotlight regularly have some sort of pseudo-religious role. Like, I was thinking earlier today, there's this Occupy Wall Street thing going on right now. And if you're listening to this in the far future, you probably already know how it all turns out. And so I don't know if that's going to be tear gas and tanks or genuine reform or just kind of a slow, quiet, end of news about it. But what the Occupy Wall Street thing is going on, like, folks are protesting outside of Wall Street about corporate personhood and the what they feel is unfair taxation of the top 1% of individuals. Like, they feel taxes need to be higher for some people in order to fix the national deficit and other problems of perceived inequality. And I can't really speak to a lot of what they're doing or whatnot because I haven't done extensive research and all that. But after about a 65-second disclaimer, here's something, though. Yeah. So anyway, this is kind of a thing that's going on right now, and apparently there's also like that movement has become a bit more widespread. Like there's an Occupy Nashville rally tomorrow, which I don't think I'll be attending, but I did start thinking like, well, if there were going to be demands made by these people, what demands would I like to see? And one of them that jumped out at me as particularly interesting was the concept of a corporate death penalty, with the idea being that essentially, if a corporation causes ludicrous amounts of like ecological damage or something like horribly immoral on a massive scale, then that corporation is essentially broken up by the state and its assets are sold off, which would be a great deterrent against, like, for example, having your aluminum plant's retaining pond wall get weak and eventually turn tons of toxic sludge, loose on the neighboring farmland, which happened in Hungary about a year ago. And, stuff like that would be great. And the market does take care of some of that, but I don't know. I think the threat of a corporate death penalty for gross negligence, essentially, would be a good thing. And it would force boards of directors to be more careful about who they appoint as their CEOs, because they know if somebody really does do a criminally bad job, that they will end up, paying for it, essentially. So that's one thing that I was thinking about that, would be a reasonable concept for them, or something that they're arguing for that I agree with. And I don't know enough to support any of their platforms entirely. And from what I can tell, it's pretty fragmented. Some folks are more libertarian. Some folks describe themselves as more progressive. But, it's an interesting idea. Anyway, so that leads me back to my earlier thing about religious leaders. Whoa! That was almost, like, horrible. I've got so much stuff on me right now, I can't afford that. Anyway, I was saying, like, some of these folks like Michael Jackson and Steve Jobs are borderline religious figures in a more secular world, I guess, that we are living in now. And I was thinking about how the kind of, the power of many churches and whatnot has kind of faltered in the last, century or so, and how this is kind of weird, but like the separation of church and state makes a lot of sense for the Founding Fathers to institute. But one thing that kind of jumps out about it to me is I'm kind of realizing that maybe, dang it, wait, this one actually should be right here, shouldn't it? Oh, because I extend this out an extra bit for that. Okay, that makes sense. So that means that I need to make this double wide and then break this up here. Like, essentially, churches had the capacity to become what corporations are now. And there was no corporations, really. I mean, I guess there was the East India Trading Company and whatnot, but, like, the East India Trading Company wasn't viewed as a threat to American ideals in the same way that religious fervor or the kind of cult-like following of a religious leader could be. Because, the Constitution wasn't necessarily just written, or the Constitution wasn't written to create a strong federal government necessarily. It was written to protect people in their states and in their towns, So the idea of a religious bloc in a town dictating things to people was, a fearful thing, because a lot of people had fled religious persecution. But yeah, so anyway, I'm kind of meandering all over the place here, but like the Occupy Wall Street's arguments about the need to separate corporations and state. Like, I almost feel like the case law might not exist to say that there's an analog to church and state, but it certainly feels like there is a constitutional precedent for this, which I'm not comfortable outright dismissing. And, because, I'm not saying that, let's see, we got 6 there. Yeah, the 6th one. I'm not saying that government should be telling folks how to run their businesses, but I am saying that maybe businesses shouldn't be recognized as people, or and some of the political contribution sizes is kind of questionable to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm not the most trusting person, and so it's one of those things where it's like, I don't want the government to have too much power, but I don't want corporations to have too much power either. I don't want religions to have too much power. I feel like diversifying power is really the best thing. And, it seems like a lot of my architectural videos end up being a little bit more philosophical or theoretical, but I guess it kind of just pushes me when I'm not exploring and being attacked by spiders. I got to do something different to kind of keep things going. So yeah, that's a little bit about Occupy Wall Street and Steve Jobs and all that. I'm not really sure down the line, what to expect out of all this. Because, it's one of those things where we seem to be living in an age where we see more volatility. Like the stock market, due to automated trading, is now like 3 to 4% more volatile on any given day than it historically would have been, because trades can be made so much quicker. And that seems to me like the sort of thing where you could create more black swan events, which are events that have massive repercussions but couldn't necessarily be planned for or counted on happening. Like, nobody on September 10th was really anticipating September 11th, except them plotted it. And so that would be classified as like a black swan event. And I guess my kind of concern is, technically, like this Occupy Wall Street thing, both sides can really just wait forever. Like, it would really probably take some sort of black swan event to actually disrupt what was going on in a serious sense, because it seems to me like nobody who's actually in government can do anything about a lot of this. Like, the corporations have already become too big to fail. They've already become too big to, be shut down. And the government can't really do much at the expense of the corporations, but it's gotten pretty good at doing a lot at the expense of the people, possibly at the behest of the corporations. And so it's just, I don't know how much the people can do at this point. I'm not saying that it's futile, because I think it's important for folks to stand up for, the things they believe in and to demonstrate their beliefs actively rather than just complaining all the time. But, like, essentially, all the unemployed people can stay out there forever, and the city of New York can continue being the city of New York and ignoring them forever. Like, essentially, unless the city of New York chooses to escalate this with more violence, like if they start killing protesters, then politicians might start having to do something about it, but they know better, I think, than to do that. What happened? What's that noise? Is there a thunderstorm coming? A thunderstorm could set my wool on fire. I didn't even think of that. Oh, wait, there's a bedrock sky. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I'm pretty happy about that. I was worried for a second. Oh no, I didn't protect my wool from the one thing that'll happen, whether or not there are spawners in darkness. Thunderstorms. Well, oh, this is awesome. I'm really happy that this is happening right now. So yeah, anyway, everybody can pretty much wait everybody else out, and ultimately, whatever, I worry that rather than coming to a reasonable consensus, it'll be such a long timeline that an unpredictable event will occur. That will not necessarily resolve this to anyone's satisfaction. Let's see, though. It is about to be winter, like the seasons are changing, and that's going to be a problem for New York if folks start freezing to death over this. Because when folks start dying because they believe in something, it makes the folks that are opposing them look like jerks. That's one of the reasons that hunger strikes are so effective, because you essentially say, I'm willing to very, very slowly die if you don't meet my, if you don't move toward my beliefs. You know, hunger strikes were used by the women that wanted to see the right to vote in the United States for women, and it was very successfully used. They had all sorts of problems where then they were in jail and they were refusing to eat, and then the doctors in the jail started force feeding them and whatnot, and it was just a mess. But it definitely helped their cause that they were willing to suffer in that way. And so I guess some people's hearts might be a little bit turned by seeing people slowly freezing to death on the streets of New York City. But, I mean, we're good at being apathetic by this point. Like, I know it sounds silly, but we really are. Like, Americans are not currently known for their empathy. And I don't know. I'm just not, I'm not sure how any of this is going to go. And I'm not sure what role I could really play in it. Because like I said, even if I had the time to do all the research and everything that's going on right now, I'm not, I don't have a lot of money. And I don't have a lot of time. This is actually like the third day in a row that I'm going to be spending over 16 hours working. Because I've got this project, I've got a day job, and I've got several other projects that I'm working on creatively, and it takes a lot of time, you know? And so I'm really appreciative that there are people that are willing to stand up for what they believe in. Like, honestly, folks protesting anything generally makes me happy, as long as they're protesting peacefully, because it means, like, you know, in general, the American citizenry has not given up on everything. We're not resigned to our fates. But, you know, I've seen, like, they got places where you can go online and send sleeping bags and food to the Wall Street protesters. And it's interesting, but, you know, like I said, I work all the time, so I've got no time to contribute, and I don't have any money, really. So I don't have any money to contribute. I'm not sure I like this. Like, I feel like this is going to be, I don't know. Like, the fact that I can't really see anything through here is less than desirable. I guess I could always tweak my texture pack to make the glass panes look a little prettier. That might be one possible solution to this. But I don't really know if that's going to... I guess I'll see what it looks like when it's through. Yeah. So I guess we can call this the victory tank, or something. Whoops. I should probably have figured out where the middle was before I. Let's see. I think, well, there's 19 of them, so that means if I just count from 3, 6, 9. Okay, so this is the 10th one right here on the white wool. So we're actually going to just break a gap in that right there. So we got a good view of the snowfields here, and this is as good a place as any to thank our next sponsor. His name is J Feet Cow, and he says, gotta look. This sign is standing at a wonderful spot. No, at a lovely location. Is that going to fit? Lovely location. Done. Okay, well, thank you very much to Jay Feet Cow for sponsoring this episode. And let's go ahead and address the roofing issue, because that is definitely going to be a concern. Like, currently, the walls are only exactly as high as the Victory Monument itself is tall, which I believe is unsatisfactory and unacceptable down the ways. So, let's go ahead and, for one thing, we'll block that up a little bit nicer. But yeah, let's see here. If we go ahead and set ourselves up... Okay, so this is going to be 19, 21, 23, 25, 27, 29, 30, 32 wide. So we know that's over 300, that's at least 300 blocks. So just slapping some bricks on top of there is not going to be a satisfactory solution. We're going to have to get a little bit wise here. I guess I can go harvest a bunch more clay. You know what? I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to suspend my building efforts for now until I can harvest more clay. Like, I feel like I've been talking a while, and I'm ready to get back to adventuring. Because I was ready to go adventuring in the first place before I so stupidly stepped off a cliff. I can't believe that. So, until next time, y'all, this is Joe Hills recording in Nashville, Tennessee. And I know what I'm doing next. I'm going adventuring. So, until next time, I hope you keep adventuring too. That wasn't as good as me just saying keep adventuring. So, you know what? Keep adventuring!